Ready? Ready?
Hey everybody, welcome to our May virtual tasting. I'm Jody Bogle, and our winemaker Aafedt is back with us this month. Welcome to the home ranch. We are so excited that we have finally reopened our home ranch here in Clarksburg to guests, and so we thought it'd be fun to do our tasting tonight out here, so you could get a quick look at Delta. You could get a quick look at what it looks like. We have now so happy to have guests back to the beautiful our picnic area, our beautiful grounds, right here in our home ranch Chardonnay. I think Caitlin's going to do a quick look at cans, so everybody can kind of get a quick look. Our vineyard patio out there in the back is ready for folks to come out and sit and enjoy a bottle of wine. Our picnic tables are available by reservation only, and our tastings. We're doing tastings now.
Thursday through Sunday from 11 to 5. So
that was awesome. I actually got a chance to try your soft opening and brought some friends out, and it was amazing. It was a complete new experience. It was really relaxing. I love the 5 wines that you have paired and all the different combinations you have, and some of them really cute. I think my favorite was the Bordeauxer.
Yep, the flights. Yeah. So we're offering guests the opportunity to now have a tasting experience. We have so many wines that Eric and his team have created. And so when you come in, you book a tasting experience, you get the opportunity to actually choose from any of the 20, 25 wines that we have available at any given time. So you can create your own flight, or you can select one of the pre-curated flights that we already have created. I like Here Comes the Sun, all the light, fun, sunny white wines, which would be perfect for a beautiful day like today. We've got our Delta breeze going, the nature's air conditioning that comes up every day. So thank you all for joining us tonight. Eric, have a ton of folks who are joining us from across the country. It's not just folks in Northern California who are coming out to join us for our virtual tastings. We have guests. We have Eric in Illinois who's joined us. We have Paula in Florida. We have the Vance family joining us again. Hi, Vances. This is their 3rd or 4th virtual tasting. They all get together and they all get all the wines in various places. Location? No, they're across the country. Okay, cool. And so they join us and they all get together and do it as a family, which is the whole reason why we put these together. So thank you for joining us. Ivan is in New York. And Brett is in Missouri. So we have folks who are staying up really late to join us tonight. Thank you for that. We thought we'd try this on a Wednesday this time instead of a Thursday, just to see if Wine Wednesday made it easier for people. So let us know in the chat if you prefer Wednesday or Thursday, because we're going to start looking at which day is better for everybody to join us.
I like Wednesday, but also Thursday is kind of traditionally a build up to Friday.
Very close to the weekend.
It's almost like a Friday night sometimes. So
it extends your weekend an extra day if you start on Thursday night.
Well, yeah.
Should we start? Why don't we extend our weekend to Wednesday? It is a 3-day weekend. We could just make it a 5-day weekend if we start right now.
So this would be normal Thursday for me.
Well, good. Well, let's start with a little rosé. So you want to grab it? We're a little bit far away from the wines. So nothing is more fun than sitting with a bottle of wine and a glass in an Adirondack chair in a beautiful setting. And so we hope that people, when you come out, will take advantage of this. They're very comfortable, I have to say. I could just sit here all night.
Yeah. They're hard to get out of.
Well, that's why you put the bottles here on this table, so you don't actually have to get up. But we wanted you to be able to see them. But imagine if you're sitting out here with your wife and you've got a bottle of wine and a chiller right here on this table, and you're just sitting here.
And my daughter's destroying the place behind us. No.
She wouldn't do that.
I know.
Anyway, one of the things we wanted to say, first of all, Betty McCoy is joining us tonight. It is Betty's 91st birthday.
Happy birthday,
Betty. Congratulations. Thank you for spending your birthday with us. That's awesome. We're excited to see that. So Eric, This is your brand new rosé. This is a brand new release. Tell us about it.
Well, it's our 2020 rosé. And first of all, I kind of wanted to shout out to Dana Stemler, our winemaker, and my winemaking partner for the last 15 years. So this is Dana's wine. She makes the rosé.
I love it.
And we work on all of them together, but this is, all of the improvements that we've seen on the rosé come from Dana's mind and her creativity. So
I love how light and bright and fresh this is. It's just so perfect just to sip. It pairs with a lot of different foods. I think it's going to be really nice with the little flatbread that if anybody made the prosciutto and pea flatbread, both this and the Chardonnay, I think will pair really well with it.
That's great. I mean, rosés are great for summer too, because they're usually crisp and really fruity, kind of fruit forward, and oftentimes, and ours included, it's a little lower in alcohol. So maybe daytime by the pool, a little lunch snack or something like
Your
that.
daytime sipper.
Yeah.
What grapes are in the rosé this year, Eric?
Well, for our rosé, there's kind of two ways you make rosé. One's called the Saignée process, which in French means to bleed. And that's the way we make it. We bring in our red grapes, which this is comprised of Cabernet, Sauvignon, Pinot Noir, and Merlot. When we bring our red grapes in to destem and ferment, we remove 10% of the juice before it gets any skin contact. So you'll see a very fresh, no tannin, very lightly colored.
That's where the blush comes from, right?
Just a little blush,
hint of color.
because it only got a little color from coming in from the vineyard and being in the gondolas. That's it.
Because the longer the grapes sit with the skins, the
more color.
darker they get. Got it.
So we take this off of the skins immediately, right when it gets to the winery, boom, it goes to another tank, and we stabulate it for a while, then we settle it and we ferment it cold and stainless. So I always think that the rosé kind of smells like eating a strawberry in the strawberry patch.
I'm getting a
little bit of earth.
You know what I'm getting right now? I'm getting a lot of fresh cut grass. But maybe that's because we're sitting on the lawn.
We should have done Sauvignon Blanc. That would have been better. But no, there's a little greenness too. I mean, some of the cooler weather Cabernets and Merlots might show a little bell pepper or something. But
strawberry patch.
In general, I like to think of a strawberry patch and super crisp and lower alcohol. So it's a super great, refreshing wine.
I love the fact it's a screw cap, so it's easy to open. Yes. I also love the fact that I can sneak another glass out of the fridge and nobody hears me pop the cork. I can just quietly screw on. Yes. You can sneak a little bit because you know what? It's only one glass if you never let your glass get empty, right? Did you know that?
No.
How many glasses of wine do you have a night? Well, I have one. But it's only one glass because I never let it get empty. I just keep filling it from the middle.
That's good logic.
Right?
Well, yeah.
That's how I justify that.
Is that the new math that you're teaching the kids?
Common Core. That's right. Well, I was thinking, you mentioned Dana. She's really, it's hard to believe she's been here 15 years.
Yes.
Because that's almost, I think we would actually no longer call her a newbie.
No,
because most people have been here. I mean, you've been here how many years now, Eric? 27, 28?
I think it's 27.
Wow.
Maybe 28 in February.
Yeah. Wow. Well, that's amazing. So we were talking about next time you can't do the tasting with me, having Dana do it with me. We thought that'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, she would love that.
Yeah.
I think.
I don't think
sure.
So. She might not, but
we'll do all the wines that she's, really
passionate about. Yes, of course.
She'll love it. We'll do the Blanc de Blanc, the Rosé, Sauvignon Blanc, and the Reverence.
Excellent.
Ones, so.
Eric, how did you get started in the wine business? I know I've had a couple people ask us that in the past. What was your start? What got you into making wine?
That's really interesting. I think it might be a little backwards in I wouldn't say backwards, but different than a lot of people who become winemakers. I grew up in the Livermore Valley, and summer jobs were had at wineries for a lot of us. So, I was 14, 15 years old, moving irrigation pipe and driving tractors and, doing odd jobs in the cellar and things like that. So I worked in several wineries as a kid all the way through high school. And right out of high school, I worked full-time for Concannon Vineyard.
Okay.
And it was there that I realized that this is something that I can do, because I was in more interesting jobs. And I was learning about wine, about working wine. I was only 18. And Jim Concannon pulled me aside and said, you need to pursue, some higher education. in order to succeed, and really pushed me to go to school. So they were really gracious. They were fantastic towards me. They would let me work as much as I wanted in their lab and in their cellars, but mostly in the lab now, and writing work orders and helping the winemaker, and go to school whenever I wanted. And then went to university at the Cal Poly of San Luis Obispo, and returned to them. I graduated on Friday and returned to them on Monday as assistant winemaker.
Wow.
So and then from there I worked there for total time was about 10 years.
Okay.
And then I came to Bogle in 1994.
Wow. That's so funny because your story and our story both dovetail to Jim Concannon, because Jim Concannon was the wine grower who first gave my grandfather Petite Syrah cuttings. When we first planted our acres in 1968, when we first planted wine grapes, we planted Chenin Blanc and we planted Petite Syrah. And the Petite Syrah acres, he got the cuttings from Jim Concannon in Livermore. And Concannon family was well known for growing a lot of Petite Syrah.
They were the first bottlers of Petite Syrah as a varietal.
Okay. Previously, it had just been used as a grape
blender,
to blend.
but nobody had ever bottled it as Petite Syrah. So Concannon was famous for Petite Syrah. In fact, James Concannon, brought over the first cuttings from the south of France, which we know as de Rief, to Livermore, and planted in Livermore.
Wow. Well, thank you, Jim Concannon, for Eric and for Petite Syrah, right? Shout out to the Concannon family. Should we move on to the Chardonnay? What do you think?
Yeah.
Are you want to hold on to your rosé for a while?
Well,
you can keep your
I have
glass.
one here and I have one there, but I think the rosé would be a fantastic idea. Take that. I'm sorry, it killed your lawn.
We just put it in.
Normally I wouldn't pour right on top of a rosé, but these are special times.
I've got a fresh glass. That's a question we get a lot. Do you have to use a fresh glass in between wines? We get that question a lot.
I mean, for me personally, I don't like to rinse out with water, because I feel like if there's water left in your glass and you pour wine in it, then the dilution of water to wine is way worse than wine to wine.
Right. You'd rather have wine diluting than water diluting.
For me personally, that's,
that makes sense.
And now if I got to have a fresh glass for every wine, then I would do that. That's always fun. Like if you go to a restaurant and have 20 glasses sitting in front of you, that's the best.
That's the fun thing about our tasting flight. You're actually getting 5 wines in 5 separate glasses, and they're all laid out in front of you. I love to compare and contrast different wines. So we have a flight, we have a Chardonnay flight where it's called Chardonnay A to Z. And it actually has 5 of our different Chardonnays lined up, and you can taste the difference between all the Chardonnays. It starts with this traditional line Chardonnay, and it includes our reserve Chardonnay, our phantom Chardonnay, our 20-acre Chardonnay. So it's really, it starts with our sparkling, which is Chardonnay grapes. So what's fun is to see how the same grapes can taste so different with various methods of vinification. It might be fun to do that for a virtual tasting one night, to actually send out, instead of doing a variety of different wines, do an actual Chardonnay flight. People who just want to try the differences between different oaks, right? Different fermentations.
You can see it the best is when you do the main line or traditional line, which is mostly Clarksburg fruit, with the reserve and then the phantom. And the phantom has traditionally been, it's Clarksburg Chardonnay and French oak. And then the reserve is usually American oak barrel fermented Chardonnay. And then the one we're drinking is half barrel fermented and half stainless steel fermented.
So this is our #1 selling wine. We sell more of this wine across the U.S. and internationally than we sell of any other wine we produce. Is that
true for the tasting room as well?
It is true for the tasting room. It is usually our #1 selling wine here at the home ranch in the wine shop. The funny thing is, though, you would think it wouldn't be because people can get it everywhere. But I think it just goes to show that this wine is really amazing. People who say, I don't love Chardonnay, I'm not a huge fan, when they try this, they really enjoy it. And I think that's because it's got a little something for everybody. It's well balanced. It's got the nice fruit from the Clarksburg Chardonnay. The grapes are grown right here in this Chardonnay vineyard.
This is our home ranch, 50 acres. It comprises about 7% of the whole blend.
And so it also has that fresh apple pear, but then it also has the nice toast from the oak. You said American oak?
Yeah, so I've been doing this for a long time, and Dana and I have been doing research on different toast levels of American oak and different grain types and different coopers, and we finally got it kind of narrowed down. But in general, and one thing I want to back up to though is that the Chardonnay is about 65% Clarksburg,
Okay.
which is the most of all of our traditional line that we distribute nationally. It has the most Clarksburg fruit in it.
Okay.
And it's not a coincidence that it's our best-selling wine because we control our grape source. Your brother is growing fantastic fruit
Yep.
for us to make amazing Chardonnay. So there's not a coincidence there. This ground is so perfect for what we're doing, especially for Chardonnay. Other wineries are now coming to Clarksburg for Chardonnay. So I think Clarksburg is going to soon become known for
It's
Chardonnay.
Chardonnay.
Yeah.
And for years, a lot of sparkling producers have
Yes.
grown Chardonnay here.
Yeah, our sparkling is fantastic from there. But we take for the Chardonnay, you'll notice that it's kind of rich and thick in its texture. Has a nice little vanilla, maybe a little coconut suntan oil smell. That's from the oak barrels.
Like we're on vacation.
Yeah, like on
We
vacation.
can close our
That's-
eyes,
They call them
pretend
whiskey
we're on the beach.
lactones because it's American oak. But then it's followed up with green apple and pear. So I can kind of wind all that together when we
Mhm.
stainless steel ferment our Clarksburg fruit and don't put any oak on it and ferment it as cold as we can while finishing fermentation. It preserves all that great green apple pear aromatics. On the other hand, when we send half of it to barrel fermentation, the barrel fermentation is a little warmer, but it picks up a nice oak flavor. But the biggest thing about being in the barrel is we can age the wine on its yeast lees. And they call this sur lees aging. It means on the lees, and that's the sediment. If it's in a barrel, we can go through after fermentation and stir the barrel once a month and get all those yeast cells in contact with the wine. This is the yeast cells when they break open are called the tolisate, and it delivers this great.
You're going all winemaker geeky
But it
now.
delivers a great silky mouthfeel. But the wine has to get in contact with the lees. So if you did this in a tank, it's very difficult to
Mhm.
sweep the
Yep.
lees of the bottom of the tank. But in a barrel, we can sweep it. They call it batonnage because they put what looks like a baton in there. Sweep it, and all the lees comes up in the yeast cells and delivers a real rich mouthfeel to the wine. Also, all that barrel Chardonnay goes through malolactic fermentation, which can soften the wine even further and create a touch of buttery. So we're hoping. I believe in the great mix is you got this nice green apple pear.
Mhm.
You've got a great rich, thick mouthfeel with a nice crisp finish, maybe a touch of butter and touch of oak.
Yeah.
So a lot of different things
Very
going on
well
there.
balanced. A little,
Yeah.
like I said, a little something for everybody. A crowd
balanced,
pleaser.
yes.
Yes. And then, not only a crowd pleaser, a critic pleaser, because this wine earned 90 points in a Best Buy in the Wine Enthusiast. And for a wine at this price level, that's a real accomplishment. So kudos to you, Eric, and team
Yeah.
for that. That's fantastic.
Yeah, this Chardonnay is, we're about value here with our traditional line, and it kills it, really.
So what's going on in the vineyard this time of year? I mean, everyone, you can see the vines behind us, right? You can see that we are well underway in the growing season. Here in Clarksburg, it was just like a lot of places in California, it was a very dry spring. How does that affect the grapes? I know people have been asking how the season so far is going.
It's been a pretty dry spring. It probably might slow ripening down a little bit. Right now, they just finished shoot thinning. They'll just probably in about a week get out and start doing some leaf pulling.
Mm-hmm.
Try to get sun exposure to these just freshly set clusters. The Chardonnay's probably just got done with set. So, your brother Warren will be able to get out and really get a good estimate on what the crop level will be.
So the shoot thinning and the leaf pulling are all to kind of manage the quality of the grape.
Right. The shoot thinning is to decrease crop load so we can more concentrate flavors into the berries that are there. And then, of course, the leaf pulling is to just allow some incidental light onto the clusters. And
More
things-
air and more light through
Yeah.
the canopy.
Right.
And that's all done by hand. That's
It is.
very intense, very labor intensive, but worth it to
It
get such
is.
high quality grapes.
Yeah, it's mandatory.
Well, so one of the things that we like to point out is that all the wines tonight are certified green by the California Rules for Sustainable Wine Growing. And part of that includes our work in the vineyard. It includes how we manage the canopy, the shoot thinning, the leaf pulling. It also talks about our water management. We like to do all of our irrigation on a drip system so that we can control water into the plant. Some years, a couple years ago when it was really wet, we didn't have to irrigate at all. But this year we'll probably have to irrigate just once before usually middle of July, right? We're irrigating.
Yeah, Warren will usually put one application on, and it depends how hot it is. If it stays really mild, he may not need to. He used to do a lot of pressure bomb testing in the leaves, which would show the moisture of the leaves. But to be honest, he's got a good eye he can see when it needs water. And so it's usually just one time. And then after we pick, he'll hit it with water again.
Right before they go. So they can get a nice drink before they go to bed for the winter.
That's
yeah,
right.
Exactly. So one of the things that we figured out, we think, is that we figured out how to get your questions. So if anybody has any questions, if you type them in, we can answer them hopefully as live as possible. So let us know if you guys have any questions about the wines or about anything that we're talking about. I know that people always want to, it's just so nice out here, sit out here in the vineyard. And so we really, if anybody who is across the country is traveling, we welcome you to come out. Folks are coming out. We have this 3-day weekend. I think we have a few spots open on Monday still, if anybody wants to come out. So might be a fun way to celebrate Memorial Day out here in Clarksburg.
You really got spots on Monday open, huh?
I think we have a few, one or two. Yeah,
that'd be well worth it, especially if you live close by. I'd recommend coming out.
Yeah. It's
cool.
fun. All information on the home ranch is now at boglewinery.com if anybody's interested in checking it out.
So is everybody on this, Zoom call or tasting been here before, or do they know the history of the winery or your family?
I don't believe that everyone has been here before. In fact, I would be shocked if they were. I haven't, the first couple ones I talked about the history, but I haven't done it in a while. So maybe I should hit it again.
Well, we've learned in recent exploration that a lot of people didn't even know that Bogle was a family-owned
business.
They had no idea.
Yeah.
So I think your stories, yours and your family story is really fascinating.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, no, I mean, we've been here, our family's been farming here in Clarksburg since the 1870s. AJ Bogle came west from Tennessee during that time when the whole region was being settled as the gold rush was happening up in the Sierra Nevada foothills. And people were coming into San Francisco from around the world and then coming right up the river. You can actually see the tree line of the river just over here. And people were coming right up the river, stopping in Sacramento to resupply, and then heading up into the hills to seek their fortune in gold. And our family wasn't looking for gold, but they were looking for a place to set down roots and start to farm. So AJ settled and started farming orchards. He farmed cherries, pears, and peaches. And it wasn't until 1968 that my grandfather Warren planted our first vines, those Petite Syrah cuttings from Jim Concannon, and a few acres of Chenin Blanc right here on the home ranch, just about, 500 yards from where I'm sitting right now. And that was really the start of Bogle. For 10 years, from 1968 to 1978, we grew grapes for other wineries. We grew for Wente Brothers and Charles Krug and Sebastiani. But in 1978, we put wine in the bottle under our own name. And we have some of those very first bottles actually upstairs in our wine shop for people to take a look at. We have some of those first bottles. I wouldn't open them and drink them, but it's fun. I get emails from folks or calls from folks. They'll come by. And a lot of them are locals. And they said, I was cleaning out my garage or I was cleaning out my basement and I found these old bottles if you want them. And people have discovered, a 1979 Chenin
Chenin
Blanc
Blanc,
or a 1981 gray Riesling that we bottled and they put in their cellar and just never got around to drinking. So they're on display now. It's fun to have them, definitely.
Yeah, it's great to see the evolution of the label too over the years.
We have them all
Yeah.
upstairs. Yep, you can kind of see the original label was from an artist who lived right here on one of our properties. My dad and grandpa asked him to, his name was Paul. I remember my dad asking him, can you draw something for us for our first label? And the story is that Paul looked out his kitchen window into the vines and saw a pheasant flying out and away from the vines. And so our first label is a hand-drawn grapevine with a pheasant flying out over the top of it. That was how that's how the pheasant icon came to be. So, and then in the 80s it got really big really, really big and colorful. And then in the late 80s it got very austere with gold and black. And then they made the belt buckle label in the 80s that a lot of people that we were using when you first started, right? That was the first label. Was it the belt buckle?
It's the exact same shape as Bogler's label.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, exactly. And they have the same labeler.
That's funny.
And they still have the same shape.
Huh.
I think. I'm not sure.
I don't know. Yeah.
But the pheasant you say is great. It's fantastic to think about because Clarksburg used to be a lot of open ground, wheat, corn, and things where pheasant could forage. And now it's almost all grape and pear, but
not a lot of nesting
grape.
sites for ground nesting birds.
We don't get to see the pheasant as much.
Not
as
as
used
much.
To.
No, every now and then you catch one. There's a lot of other wildlife here. I had a squirrel in my garage this morning. That was interesting.
Yeah, those are in Sacramento too.
At least it wasn't a skunk or a possum. That would have been a problem. Anyway, well, let's move on to the reds. Let's move on to the Malbec. I love this wine, Eric. This is one of your really just a wonderful, wonderful reserve selection that you bottle just for the wine club and for here at the wine shop. The Rosé and the Chardonnay are available nationwide. You should be able to find them, for those of you out in Missouri and New York and Florida. But this Malbec, unfortunately, you got to make a visit to the wine shop, or you can order it online now as well.
Yeah, so Malbec is it's a wine that we bring in.
So good.
First, it's to back up and kind of for a winery our size, we do things a little differently. We still behave like we're a small winery. So every single vineyard and every vineyard block that we grow, or we have growers grow for us, we make that wine separately, vinify it separately, and then age it separately in oak barrels. And early on, we'll taste through the wines, and when we decide we know a vineyard source is of fantastic quality, or tasting the wine right after fermentation, we'll designate it for perhaps a more high quality barrel and a different barrel regime. So we picked this wine, which is a Lake County Malbec. It's great, intense color, great kind of brambly, jammy fruit, great big structure, but not hard. Just a lot of stuffing going on.
So much aromatic. Aromatically, it's beautiful. So let me ask you this: when you taste all those lots, right? Because at any given time you have like 600 lots of wine.
We do. Yeah,
you have a lot
currently. Yeah.
When you're tasting all the field lots, how do you know? Like, what do you just know? Like, do you just stick your nose in the glass and go, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing"?
Starts there. Yeah, it starts there with, "Oh my gosh, it's amazing," in the nose, and then you taste it, and it's incredible. So, myself and Dana will taste. We taste a lot, and we've got our computers out, and we've got our sheets, and we write notes. We score them, rank them.
Yeah.
Perhaps make a note of where it might want to go, and what we might want to do with it, and we'll talk about it.
And that's just at your first tasting of it. After
right.
its first,
and then we taste them, every 6 weeks from there.
Wow.
And
it's a lot of
decide
tasting.
where things will go. And yeah, it is a lot of tasting. Sometimes you get a little, well, shoot, if you taste 50 wines, I think it's like drinking a glass of wine.
And you're spitting too.
Yeah, you got to spit it.
He's using a dump bucket like this. He's not at his desk with 50 wines.
But we have brought in a lot of Malbec for Cabernet.
Yes.
Our Cabernet traditional line, and Juggernaut. So it's a great lift into Cabernet. Sometimes Cabernet Sauvignon can have what we call with tasting is a donut.
Donut, yep.
It's got a great entry. It's got a great finish, but in the middle it seems a little empty.
Okay.
So Malbec can really fill that void there. And so that's why we started bringing in Malbec.
And I love that because we have this great wine club of folks who like to try different things and the wine shop, we have the opportunity to put it in the bottle separately, to put it in the bottle. Otherwise, we would just be bringing this fruit in and it would be going into, like you said, our traditional Cabernet as a small percentage to kind of beef up the middle, but which is how wine is made. But this way it gives you the opportunity to really play and have some fun and
well, it's impossible to do what we do without probably the largest barrel room in the country. Because if you're going to store all these lots separately, you need an infinite different sizes of vessels. So we have over almost 100,000 barrels, which is about 6 million gallons of wine that stores all of these red wines. And that gives us this great opportunity to keep these lots separate and evaluate, and then choose a program for them to really try to put the finishing touches. The small Malbec was aged for 36 months in about 60% new French oak and 40% just neutral American oak.
Jody, not me, Jody. Jody, who's watching, asked if we know the elevation in Lake County that this was picked from.
Lake County's, it's not, it's a little hillside, but it's not too high.
Not too high.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just right above the lake.
Got it. And you're talking about Clear Lake.
Yeah.
Which is north, kind of
north of Napa.
North of Napa. And
north of Calistoga.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. How much further up there? I have never been up there.
Oh gosh, I don't know, 45 minutes.
Okay. So
Jody would probably know.
I don't remember where Jody was from. I saw her name earlier, but I don't remember.
Thurston Creek Vineyard is one of the hillside vineyards that we use for the Juggernaut Cabernet, which is the hillside.
Got it.
Yeah.
Something that I know we've been asked before, Eric, and you're the perfect person to explain this to us. On the tasting sheets that we send out for folks now, we are letting folks know if the wines are vegan friendly and gluten free. And most of the time, the wines are both. But every now and then we get one that is not. And I want to say the Malbec is
it's not
is gluten.
But wow, almost got attacked.
It's a really big turkey vulture right there. Just flew right over. Anyway, sorry.
Sometimes when we make a wine and we macerate it and we're doing the red wine fermentation, some wines, although they're exceptional and they have great aromatics, great mouthfeel, the tannins, which give you that structure in your mouthfeel, are extreme.
That can dry your mouth out too much.
And that's why this wine was aged for 36 months in oak, because the passive oxidation through a barrel can help to soften those tannins.
Right.
But we really had we love this wine, but it was just a little hard on the finish. Yeah. So there's traditional methods that winemakers have been using for centuries to soften a wine. And in this one, this is a very traditional French method of egg white fining.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
That would be what makes it not vegan.
That's not vegan.
Right.
Yes.
But when you run tests, there's no egg whites in the wine.
There wouldn't be.
It doesn't stay in the wine because it's being filtered out.
Right. But philosophically, someone who's vegan is maybe not about nutrition, or that it's more about an animal.
Right.
Although they just laid an egg for us. I don't know if they're free range or not, but it seems pretty innocuous, but somebody who's really serious about it.
Sure.
We
want to share that
philosophical difference. Yeah.
We want to share that information with them. I just wanted to clarify that we don't put egg in the wine. It's part of the filtration process.
It's fine. You just take the egg whites and you mix them with the wine and you put it in a barrel or tank. And as it settles down, the protein in the albumin of the white grabs onto the tannins and drags them down.
Fascinating.
And then we pump off that wine off of the sediment.
Okay.
And then discard
all this sediment.
The egg whites with the tannins that are bound to it.
Is it really common? Do a lot of wineries do that?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, many, and it's been.
And it's it's like an old tradition. It's not new. It's something that.
It's so old. When I was like 18, I was doing it. The winemaker would make me go in the barrel room and take a real egg, crack it open.
No.
take the yolk out, and then you'd mix it with salt and water, and then you put it in one barrel, and then do 2 eggs in the next and 3 eggs in the next. So then you can come in a month later and taste each barrel to see how many eggs per
you needed.
barrel you wanted to put.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's a
That's incredible.
It's
I had no
li-
idea. See, I'm so glad you're here because I would have had an answer, but it would not have been that
it-
informative. So thank you.
long time, It's centuries and centuries.
Wow. I did not realize that. So for those of you who've asked in the past, I know we've had some questions about why is one wine sometimes. Now, why wouldn't a wine be gluten free? Because I know most of our wines are, but every now and then we have a wine that's not gluten free.
We don't. We've never had a wine.
We've never
that
had a
was
wine. Oh,
not
okay.
gluten-free.
That's good
There's
to know.
nothing that's used in the winery that could create gluten in your wine. We just sent out all of our wines for allergen testing, and they came back less than detectable for gluten.
Oh, okay, great.
But somebody who truly has celiac disease,
Mhm.
even a speck of gluten could affect them.
Okay.
And with our 100,000 barrels, what the coopers used to, when they were placing the heads and the crows, they used to put flour in the crows,
Huh.
put the head in, and then pound the hoops down. It's
Okay.
almost like a sealing wax. But none of that flour would make it into the wine. But people who are
Who truly have
who truly have celiac disease are familiar with all these things. For the last 3 vintages or last 3 years of our Cooper has been going to which is called buckwheat, which
Okay.
has no gluten in it.
Got it.
So I would estimate that there's no chance that any of our wines have gluten.
That's great to know. Thank you.
Yeah.
Because some people are just trying to be careful about gluten, while some
Yeah.
people do have, more of a serious allergy with the celiac. So that's great information to have.
But we do
Thank you.
test, and it comes back undetectable. So-
Excellent. Great. Well, this Malbec is beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Really, really beautiful, dark fruit. And this, Eric, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. This wine has received the highest score of any Bogle wine of all time
Is that right?
from the Wine Enthusiast, right?
Oh, that's
This
awesome.
wine got a 92 points review, 92-point review from the Wine Enthusiast.
That's fantastic. I think I remember that.
So it shows. This is really gorgeous.
Yeah, we love making this wine. And then the 17 will be coming up next. And we have several great grape sources of
Okay.
Malbec. So it's
Nice.
pretty cool.
I know. I love keeping this one available year round. I checked inventory though earlier. We're down to about the last 20 cases of this vintage.
Oh,
So we
okay.
don't have that much left of it, but I'm glad to hear you have more to bottle. That's
Yes,
great.
of course.
So, oh my goodness, it's so beautiful. I wish everyone was out here with us. So a question we're getting from a lot of folks is, when are you going to do events again? Now, so people can come out in the evenings, because we're only open till 5. We have decided to kind of wait and get our sea legs under us with regard to the opening and the tastings and the experiences. But so we're hoping to return to events in spring of 22. It may be sooner. We'll see. I don't know. We got to kind of see how things are going, and we still have another part of the project here on the property that's not finished yet. So we want to get that done. We have the terrace patio, the levee terrace that we're going to be creating for events. So as soon as that's done, that'll give us a lot more flexibility with the space.
I hope you do Alfresco Fridays in 2022.
I
Is that
hope so
possible?
too. I hope so too. Yes, it's definitely possible. Anything's possible.
What if the governor decides on June 15th that everybody's green and it's a free for all?
I think
Do we get
everyone
to
might
have
be
Alfresco
booked
Friday
already.
in July?
You can come out on a Friday and bring your family. We'll have to see. When we return to Alfresco Friday, it'll look a lot different. It will be a ticketed event. We will ask people to make reservations in advance, just because now we have to be a little more mindful about space. Those of you who maybe were able to come out to an Alfresco Friday summer of 19, you would have seen they've gotten very, very busy, very, very crowded. People circling the parking lot, parking on the road, all things that aren't real ideal. So we'll be making some changes to it, but I can't wait to come back to Alfresco. Number one, I love Friday Alfresco because with the food trucks here, I don't have to cook dinner, and it's a great time to spend with family. The other thing I want to come back to and do again are movie nights. We used to do movie nights where we had you've never been out to oh my gosh, movie nights were so fun. We'd put up a big canvas right out here on the grass and show a classic movie. We showed, I think the very first movie we ever showed for a movie night, it was the best ever, was Raiders of the Lost Ark with Harrison Ford, because that's one of the most awesome movies. We showed Star Wars, we've showed Pretty in Pink, so lots of different genres. We showed Ghostbusters at Halloween around in October. We showed Back to the Future. So we had some pretty fun ones. We had a full list slated for 2020 that we had to postpone. So when we're ready to come back to movie nights, and movie nights will be great because everyone's kind of socially distanced on their own blanket or in their own chairs anyway. So we're definitely going to come back to that at some point. So we're excited. We're working on it. And just keep checking our website. Make sure you're signed up for our newsletter. That's where all that information is going to be. Eric asked, not you, Eric, another Eric. Isn't that funny? The two questions have come from a Jody and an Eric tonight. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder.
No. Right, Caitlin? The questions have come from people who are named Eric and Jody. Eric's question, thank you for asking, Eric, is the tour of France still on for August of 21, August of this year? So we had a Bogle Goes to Bordeaux cruise with AMA Waterways scheduled for August of 2020, which obviously was postponed. And so they just pushed it a full year to August of 21. Now, a little birdie is telling me that the cruise is slated to go. I'm waiting for official word from the cruise line, like an official, we are going, we want your wine, please send it to us, before I send anything out about it. But from what I'm hearing, the cruise is going to sail, and dates are August 19th through the 26th. And it's a river cruise along the, I can never pronounce the river in Bordeaux. The Gironde? Okay. Anyway, should look that up before I go, most definitely. So I'm going to be on the cruise, and what I'm doing is I'm taking Bogle wines, and so I'm the wine expert on the cruise. So I can talk about Bogle wine all day long, but I'm not as familiar with wines from Bordeaux. So I had actually started taking some online classes about learning about wines from Bordeaux.
An extra year now.
I did have an extra year. I kind of let it slip. I stopped when they canceled, but the first time when they postponed. So I need to pick that back up again. But some of the varietals that we grow and that we produce are the same varietals that are in Bordeaux wines. And so I would be not only talking about Bogle wines, but I would be leading tours and talking about and leading tastings of Bordeaux wines. So, which is really fun because the Malbec is a Bordeaux varietal. We'll be taking the Malbec on the cruise with us, and we'll also be taking Reverence. So this is a great opportunity to pour and talk about the Reverence. Reverence is an actual Bordeaux style blend, right, Eric?
It is, yes. It's
Thank you.
Cabernet, Malbec, and Merlot.
And the other two Bordeaux varietals are, let me see if I can get this, Cabernet Franc and Petit Verdot. Right. There's 5 red
there's some obscure ones.
Okay, so there's 5 main red varietals. I know the white is Sauvignon Blanc.
Yes,
yes,
something.
But they're more well known for their reds. Bordeaux is. So first of all, I guess you and I can speak to the Reverence. We created it several years ago for the wine club. It's and the label and the name Reverence, it's really an homage to, we wanted to do something and kind of as an homage to our parents and our grandparents, being reverent and revering the fact that we're so grateful to be here. And this wine is just gorgeous.
I would say this is the best wine that we have in the winery right now. It's fantastic. Again, due to the nature of how we make wine and the commitment that we make to vinifying each of our vineyard blocks separately, we're able to identify these great outside vineyards. So it's California appellation only because the very best of what we have. I know it's flies around. It's dust.
Yep.
We'll be getting eaten by mosquitoes any second. So it's Livermore Valley, El Dorado County, or El Dorado Hills, right up there in the Sierra foothills, and Lake County, which
Okay.
is the same.
That's where the Malbec is probably
That's the
from, right?
previous vintage of this
okay.
Malbec. It's the same vineyard. So you'll likely see
Got it.
that the Malbec that's in our reference will be the next vintage also of Malbec. Again, it's a powerful wine, a lot of structure, so it requires
A lot of structure.
barrel aging.
It's a little more dusty. It's a little more earthy than the Malbec. Am I right? Or is it a little?
So
Is that from? What is that? What would that be from? From the Merlot? And the Cab, maybe?
Yeah, the Cab can be, can have a touch of herbalness and has a little herbalness, but
Beautiful.
you'll notice that the mouth feels fantastic. The color's deep,
Mm-hmm.
the color,
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
and then aged for 34 months in French and American oak barrels.
And we saw such positive response to this wine that's really how we got started. One of the impetus for our Juggernaut Cabernet, correct?
Yeah, I mean, these hillside vineyards that we bring in, we're creating such high quality that we looked at it and thought the Juggernaut Cabernet would be a program exactly like this. Which it is blended. The Juggernaut Cabernet is, again, Bordeaux type style.
Okay. A Bordeaux style Cab.
Malbec, Petit Verdot, and Merlot.
Small percentages. Yeah. Awesome. Well, that's great. The wine is gorgeous. And so this is another wine that we would be taking on that cruise and comparing with Bordeaux style reds from that area. Rita asked if it's formal. Is the cruise formal? Do men have to wear suits and women have to wear dresses? I do not believe it is not formal. It's, wine country casual, nice jeans and a blazer, maybe one night. But from what I understand, it's not formal at all. So but it sounds fun. I really hope we get to do it. It's been a long time waiting. So we have a group of actually about 10 couples, from what I understand right now, who have hung out. We did a virtual tasting last year on the sailing date, with the date we were all supposed to set sail and wave off from the shore. We sent a package of wines to the people who had signed up, and we had a little, sorry, we're not leaving on a fabulous cruise today, but let's have a glass of wine instead, and cheers to next year. So I believe almost everyone is still coming with us, and yeah, so we still have 10 couples, we from what I understand, but we'll have our own private wine events, wine tastings, wine parties, wine get-togethers, our own group things. We'll have dinners together and wine dinners, things like that as a group. So it's just really fun. I'm looking forward to it.
If it does go down, is there still any availability?
From what I understand, yes. So and I'll double check. Is like I said, as soon as I get the real word instead of just the whisperings, we'll send information out to everyone so they can learn more about it if they're interested. So I know everyone's dying to travel. I can't wait to travel. I just feel, I mean, we live in a beautiful part of the world, but I have the travel itch. I love to see different parts of the world and different parts of even just the US. So can't wait to travel again for sure. What are you doing this summer? Are you going anywhere fun?
No, we don't. We'll be in Tahoe a lot, Lake Tahoe, which is funny because you'll talk about traveling and you meet, it's a very international place.
Right.
You'll meet people who come from all over the world up there. And drive an hour and a half from our house.
Right. What's so funny is our importer in Germany, Michael Unger from Unger Wein.
Yeah.
He's bought our wine for, probably 15 years and sold it in Germany. He and his family come for a week every summer, or a week or two more every summer to water ski. And then they come in the winter for a week or more and snow ski every year to Lake Tahoe. Yep. I'm sure he makes a drive over to Napa or Sonoma and checks out wines and meets with all the wineries that he.
It's a pretty magical place. It's an amazing place. So I'm very fortunate to visit often.
I don't spend enough time up there. I should try to do that more, I guess. I should try to I go the other way. I go to the beach.
Yeah.
We go to the California coast. My kids are beach bunnies, so they
I would
both.
like to get to Mexico. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
But
We'll see.
maybe I'll wait till winter.
See how everything goes. Yeah. Well, and we have a busy couple months coming up too. I mean, now that we've had bloom and fruit set is happening, I mean, it's a quick 3 months to harvest, right? We're looking at harvesting anywhere between the end of August to the beginning of September. So we're almost to June. So June, July, August, so 3 months. So you can't go anywhere. You have to stay. It's a very important time for you.
You know, in California or here, September is the most glorious month of all. You know, it's
It is beautiful.
really 90 degrees during the day and 65 at night. And I get to miss it most of the time, but
Because you're so busy.
yeah, September is amazing.
Yeah. Well, we're very, very blessed to get to live where we are. And again, all of you guys, whether you're here in California or whether you're around the country, please know you have an open invitation to visit anytime. We'd love to have you visit us here at the home ranch in Clarksburg. So
Well, thank you so much for joining us.
thank you.
Again, it's customers and our club members
Mhm.
like you guys that allow myself and Dana to kind of craft these specialty wines that we wouldn't be able to do without your support. So we sincerely appreciate it.
Yeah. Cheers to everyone for watching. Cheers to joining us. And we'll see you guys in June. Thank you. Good night.